Welcome to the DreamNation Breakfast Club. I am your host, Josh Valentine, and the Breakfast Club is brought to you by the Journey Podcast, wherever podcasts are live stream. Excited to be here with you all, as always, as we meet together every single Tuesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you who are hopping on for the very first time, welcome to our community where we gather together every single week and cover different topics around personal development, life coaching, things that could essentially make your life better. And every week is something a little different. So this week, we're going to be covering Own the Clock, Own Your Life, the hidden power of schedule mastery. So as we get ready to embark on 2026, we could all use a little bit of an update to our schedules. So really excited to jump into that here today, because during this time of the year, for me, it's very exciting. I actually get the busiest as a coach. I get the busiest during this time for the simple fact that a lot of people are getting ready to launch into the new year. They have New Year resolutions. As a community, we're prepping for the new year. And I'm one of those believers that when it comes to New Year resolutions, you should never start it at the beginning of January. New Year resolutions should be started weeks before so that you can build up momentum going into the new year. You see, most people, when they embark on the new year, they're typically starting their New Year resolutions. They're all excited, new year, new me. And then they find themselves in a space where, they're not following through. There's actually a National Quitters Day in January for when people, I always talk about this, there are tons of people who actually end up quitting on their New Year resolutions within the first few weeks. And I believe that part of it is because they haven't really embedded those routines. They haven't integrated and assimilated those routines into their daily schedule. However, if you start weeks prior to the new year actually starting, you can give yourself some time to make these things a part of your weekly method of operation or daily method of operation. So today, we're going to be covering everything scheduling. I'm big on calendar optimization. For those of you who follow my work, always talking about how you should pretty much be working out your schedule to optimize it for your peak performance, for just keeping some type of balance in your life. So let's get ready to jump right into it. Just adjusting my camera here, and we should be all good to go. Let us know where in the world you are tuning in from. By the way, if you're watching the replay, drop an R in the comments. Let us know what cities you guys are tuning in from. And if you don't know, the Breakfast Club is actually streamed on many platforms all over social media. You could also find recordings wherever podcasts are streamed. Just type in the Journey Podcast with Josh Valentine, and you'll find tons and tons of episodes, as well as amazing interviews of people that I've interviewed in the past. And today I'm actually really excited because I have one of my clients who I'll be doing an interview with later on this evening. So looking forward to you guys checking that out. I just dropped a new podcast episode with someone I interviewed, Fab the Vegan, really good friend of mine who I met on TV. And I just dropped that episode. So make sure you guys go check it out. All right, so let's get ready to jump right into it. Own the clock, own your life, the hidden power of schedule mastery. So before we jump into that, I just want to cover a few life hacks and fun facts for you guys, as we typically do before jumping into the main topic for the day. And today's fun fact, we have a few of them actually. The very first fun fact is the average person wastes 21.8 hours per week due to poor planning and constant task switching. That's over 1,100 hours a year, enough time to start a business, write a book, or master a new skill. Think about that. 21.8 hours per week. That's pretty much an entire day that we typically waste just not being intentional with our days. So something to definitely take into account. We typically think that we don't have any time, but we don't realize how much time we're actually wasting on things that don't necessarily get us the results that we're looking for. So fun fact number 2, we have your brain is 2.5 times more efficient in the morning within the first 2 hours after waking up. That means your golden time is literally worth more. And this is definitely important to understand, because at the very beginning of the day, oftentimes I find that if you get your day started really, really early and you kind of build up that momentum, you typically see the effect throughout the day. That's why you guys will hear me say many times that if you win the morning, you'll win the day. And really, life is about winning the day when it comes to just getting results, because oftentimes we get overwhelmed with the week or we get overwhelmed with the entire month. But if you just focus on winning the day, you're a lot more likely to, again, win the week, win the month, and so on and so forth. Next fun fact we have is people who time block are shown to reduce stress by up to 60% because the brain feels safer when it knows what's coming next. And I can tell you right now, this definitely is something that I've noticed actually works in my life, like just scheduling things out and even just the process of writing things down. Sometimes just putting together a plan really helps with anxiety. It helps with overwhelm, things that you're probably navigating through. Take the time to really sit down, write out what you're thinking, and you'll notice a significant difference in the way that you feel about what it is that you're going through. And I think that honestly, a lot of it has to do psychologically with this idea of control or perceived control. There's a saying that perceived control equals happiness. And sometimes feeling like we have a sense of control, it really does alter our mood. And this is a big reason why you hear a lot of talk about making your bed and the importance of making your bed. And I'm a firm believer that making your bed definitely has a significant impact on the way that you feel throughout the course of the week. Because think about it, whenever you have like a long day or life just seems to get a bit chaotic, when you go home and you get ready to rest your head at night or whatever the case may be, and just seeing a spread bed, a bed that's made up, it just gives you a sense of like, you know what? Life is a little bit crazy right now, but I do still have some sense of control. Like I always say that a cluttered home is a cluttered mind is a cluttered life. You always have to start off with your inner world, making sure that your home is intact, because isn't it true that you just feel so much better when you come back home to just an organized space rather than everything just cluttered? You got dishes piled up, you got clothes on the floor, and it's just, it gives you that feeling like you don't have control over your life when you walk into a home like that. So just little things as simple as making your bed definitely go a long way. Next up, we have a few life hacks. The very first life hack is, this was actually my first time hearing about this one. Use the 10-3-2-1-0 rule. And the way that rule works is 10 hours before bed, no caffeine. And I need to definitely take this advice because Lord knows I'm notorious for drinking caffeine after 4 p.m. And I do feel that it has an effect on my sleep for sure, because I'll catch myself waking up through the night from time to time. So no caffeine, 10 hours before bed. 3 hours before bed, no heavy meals. This is super important because while you sleep, remember your body is still digesting food. So if you give yourself a couple of hours before you go to bed, you're going to be able to digest your food a lot better. 2 hours before you go to bed, no work. So shutting down work 2 hours before bed. I'm at about 1 hour before bed, but I definitely have to get better. 2 hours is really good. 1 hour before bed, no screens. And you guys hear me talk about this all the time, especially after 10 p.m. You definitely don't want to be looking at screens because it also has an effect on the quality of your sleep. And 0 hours is the number of times you hit snooze. So when you wake up, no snooze. And this alone can increase daily energy apparently by 30 to 40%. And I'm a believer in that. You guys hear me talk about going 21 days without hitting the snooze button. In fact, it's part of the 21 to do. So I have the 21 days to transformation challenge that we do with our community from time to time. And part of the 21 to do's is not hitting the snooze button. And there's power in that. Reason being is because, think about it. When you hit the snooze button, unconsciously or subconsciously, you're like telling yourself that you don't want to start the day, right? It's the very first signal to say, you know what, I'm not ready to take on the day. Whereas if you do not hit the snooze button and you get straight up and you get your day rolling, it has a different kind of energy to it. And this is a big reason why I recommend for so many people. In fact, my wife is good at this. She actually puts the phone in the bathroom. because it forces her to get up and not snooze. And I would even recommend having a glass of water by your phone. So the moment you wake up, if you can have it on the other side of the room or in another room altogether, not if you're gonna like not hear the alarm, right? Because some people like, Josh, I tried the life hack and I didn't wake up this morning because I didn't hear the alarm. So make sure that it's close enough so that you can actually hear it. Also, be very mindful at the type of alarm you set. So, for example, my wife has an alarm that has nature sounds, and you may put like nature sounds and end up thinking that you're dreaming, right? Or thinking that like it's not even an alarm, it's part of your dream. So set an alarm that's actually going to get you up. Put the phone on the other side of the room if you can, and preferably put a glass of water or a bottle of water so that you can just start hydrating yourself and wake yourself up the moment you wake up. All right. So no snooze. If there's any goal that would be really good for 2026, is definitely no snooze, because you want to get up and start your day with some attitude, right? And I'm talking about the positive attitude, like you're ready to take on whatever challenge life presents. Next, we have life hack number 2. Master the core 3 daily priorities. Many of you hear me talk about this and refer to it as the big 3 or the 3 to thrive. And pretty much it's the 3 main goals that you have to get done for the day. So every morning, list only 3 game-changing tasks that move your business, your income, or your health forward. If everything is important, nothing is. Remember that. And you guys hear me always talk about Warren Buffett's quote, if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. It's so important to just focus. Most people don't get ahead in life, as my mentor says, because they major in minor things. So you want to be the person that really identifies what are the 3 things, the 3 critical things that are actually going to move the needle. And I know for me, typically, like, part of my big 3 is, it may be content creation, because content creation is essential for my line of work, but working out is a big part of it. Working out, doing something with my business, sometimes it's family related stuff, but identify those big 3 and preferably go through your list the day before, because sometimes you may have things on your schedule the next morning and you don't even look at your calendar in the morning and you end up forgetting that you had something scheduled. So look at your schedule always like the evening before. And I believe that if you kind of look at your day ahead and you know what to expect for the next day, your dreams can actually work in your favor. Maybe you have some dreams, some divine guidance on what to do with the day ahead. So there's power in going over your next day the night before. As you guys hear me say all the time, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you want to take time to just plan out your days, your weeks, and so on and so forth. Life hack number 3, automate your life using theme days. You guys may have heard me talk about this a few weeks ago. And basically the way theme days work is you assign each day a theme. So for example, it may be Marketing Monday or Client Tuesday, Content Wednesday, etc. So whenever I'm coaching clients, and social media tends to be one of those tedious things for a lot of people where it's hard just staying consistent with it. But you have things like batch creating, where you can just dedicate or allocate one day or a few hours out of the week just to creating content and doing it all at the same time. Okay, so there's theme days that you can have. Maybe there's certain days out of the week, right? But having these theme days really help you stay on track, and you reduce decision fatigue and operate with better focus. All right, so let's jump into it. Today, understand that most people don't have a time problem. They have a management problem. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the structure of your schedule. So I always say that you have to treat your schedule like your second Bible, right? Your schedule is like your boss. I always say that all the time. I'm a servant to my schedule. Everything has to go on the schedule, because, you know, it's interesting. I was talking to this men's business leaders group that I'm a part of last week. And one of the things that we were talking about was time management and actually making time for God, right? Prioritizing God in your life and just getting better at time management. And one of the things that I had referenced was time management is important, but oftentimes one of the things that I preach is energy management, because think about it. You may be really good at time management, but if you don't structure your day in such a way where you have enough energy to do the things that you need to do, then it's pointless. So you have to schedule things on your calendar. And this is part of the process. When I go through calendar optimization, I have people schedule things in according to their energy levels throughout the day. So if you're someone who works better at night, then we may schedule some of your creative work in the night. Or if you're someone who's super motivated, high energy in the morning, maybe getting that workout done early in the morning rather than waiting after work where you're burnt out and chances are you're probably not going to get up in that gym. So this is definitely important to understand, is having energy management throughout the course of the day. Next, let's see here. All right. Why schedule mastery equals life mastery? And I'm going to share a few key points when it comes to that. The very first thing is a schedule is a reflection of your values. You have to inspect what you expect. Think about that. Whatever goes on your calendar is a priority in your life, right? Whenever you're intentional about what you give your time to, it clearly indicates what you value. So if you truly value being a good parent, getting close with your children, then you're going to schedule that in. If you truly value marriage, you're probably going to schedule in some date nights, things like that. So a schedule, remember, is a reflection of your values. That's why it's so important. Now, remember this, busy does not equal productive. There are a lot of people who get caught up in busy work thinking that they're productive, but the reality is that they're not. They just kind of justify in their mind that they're productive because they're moving around a lot, but they're not really doing things that are going to get them the result that they want. And this is why you have to take inventory of what you're giving your time to and really see whether it's actually working. Okay. In the world of productivity, you have lead indicators and lag indicators. And those are the things that show you whether or not you're making progress. Now, we have chaos in your calendar leads to chaos in your mind. It's the same idea. You as like taking care of your home, right? If you're taking care of your calendar, chances are you're not going to be as overwhelmed or have as much anxiety, because anxiety typically comes from you feel as if you have a lack of control in your life. Like everything is hitting you all at the same time and you don't have that personal power. A lot of anxiety comes from that. So when you're very intentional about what it is that you're doing throughout the day, again, it gives you that sense of control. Your schedule determines, remember, how you feel, how you perform, what you accomplish, your stress levels, the quality of your relationships, right? And the four currencies of life are time, energy, attention, focus. A schedule protects all four. Many times you guys hear me talk about who and what is getting your T, and T being an acronym for your time, energy, and attention. So what in your life is getting your T? Who in your life is getting your T? And how much of those important things are you actually scheduling? So think about this, the areas of your life that you really want to improve going into the new year. For some of you, it may be your finances. For some of you, it may be, let's just say, your relationships. It may be your parenting. It may be your career. Now, how many of those things are actually on your calendar? Like if you looked at your calendar today, how many of those things can you genuinely say are on your calendar right now? This is super important to understand, because a lot of people don't realize that they're not getting ahead in life simply because they're not giving enough consciousness to the things that actually matter. Okay, so before we jump into the next segment, quick heads up. I am in the middle of a challenge with our community, so I'm really excited. And when I say challenge, I mean like a really good challenge. Every year we do challenges throughout the course of the years. You guys may have been a part of the 21 days to transformation challenges and all of that stuff. This year, I did something a little different going into the new year. We didn't do a 21 days to transformation challenge. We're actually doing 5-day challenges. And what makes these challenges unique is that I'm actually doing them one-on-one. So if you're someone who has wanted that one-on-one attention and you want to go 5 days working on something that you really want to accomplish going into the new year, it could be launching a book, launching a podcast, launching a business, taking your life to the next level, or just something in your personal life that you want to break through in. I would highly recommend you embark on this 5-day challenge. I had a lot of people reach out. There's a standby list. If you would like more information on how the 5-day challenge works, DM me the word challenge. Wherever you can find me on social media, I'll be more than happy to fill you in on exactly how it works, but it is one-on-one with me. So I am super limited. Right now, I'm doing about 4 to 5 people a week going into the new year. So really excited to work with many of you. If you've been on the standby list, just be patient. We're going to do our best to get as many of you in the challenge as possible. So it's been going really cool just working with many of you on a one-to-one basis. And so many people have been getting incredible results. And I'm definitely looking forward to coaching a lot of you guys going into the new year with this challenge. Next, we have how your brain works with or against your time. Okay, this is really good. So some of the key points are this. The brain loves rhythm and predictability. Okay, the brain loves rhythm and predictability, that flow state where you're just kind of in flow. And predictability is a big thing. I know for me, whenever I'm typically in my happy place, whenever I have routine, I just thrive off of routine. I know not everybody, routine is their thing, but predictability most certainly has helped me over the years just feel like I have so much more control. Next, we have every decision drains willpower. Reduce decisions, increase your power. This is a big, big thing to understand because you have this idea of willpower depletion. Every act that you make or embark on throughout the course of the day, it is depleting you of your dopamine. It is depleting you of your willpower. Willpower is a lot like a muscle. The more you use it, the more you lose it. And you have to be very intentional about how you go about, let's say, scrolling, how you go about checking your emails, how you go about taking random phone calls from family and friends, because these things do take your energy. So for example, rather than checking your email all throughout the day, just take one time throughout the day to check your email. Rather than scrolling through your news feed on social media all throughout the day, giving social media dopamine, just take one time throughout the day or delete the app altogether. And this really does help because in order to really perform at your best when it comes to the work that you're doing, you're going to need as much of your dopamine as possible to take all out massive action. Next, we have why task switching is destroying your productivity. Many of us throughout the day, we're just embarking on a lot of different tasks. So it may be, let's say, making that store run for the day or doing the dishes, and then you're dealing with your children and you've got this task and that task, sending out emails and all of that. And remember, most people, if not all people, have biological prime times. All people do. And it's kind of different for a lot of people, but for most people, for example, the morning deep work is best for the morning time because that's when they have a lot of their energy. And remember, your brain also has different brain waves, and those brain waves alter the way your brain operates. So you have beta, alpha, you have theta, delta, and even gamma brain waves. And depending on that brain wave that you're on, or that frequency, if you will, that typically determines how creative you are, how effective you are, or analytical you are. And different times of the day, you have different parts of your brain that are operated. It's like when you're just waking up, your brain is in that theta state. The delta brain wave is deep sleep, for example. The theta state is kind of like you're in that dream, like you're like awake in a sense, but you're not completely just on 100 when it comes to being super analytical or rational or logical, but there's still value in being in a theta brain state. So, for example, you may go into a deep meditation and you're kind of in between like theta and delta, and you're able to have these, these visions or whatever. Now, if you're an alpha brainwave is going to have you a lot more creative. Beta helps you with being productive and analytical, logical, things like that. And gamma is like being superhuman. You're at your best. You're in a flow state. Okay, so different times of the day, you're in different brain waves. And the afternoon, for example, may be really good for administrative work or light work. And the evening may be better for planning and reflection. So you essentially want to align your task with your natural energy or your natural brain waves, if you will. We all have different aspects of the way our body and brains work. And it's good to know what times of the day you're most creative, what times of the day you're primed for analytical work. And it's a little different for different people. Some people are night owls. My wife is a major night owl, so she loves working through the night, and that's just optimal for her. For me, I got to get my sleep, and I'm more of a morning person. Okay, here we go. The 3 pillars of a powerful schedule. The 3 pillars of a powerful schedule. By the way, if you're getting value so far, drop a V in the comments for value. I read through all my comments, and it's always greatly appreciated when you drop the comments. Also, like, comment, share, tag someone who can get value. It all helps get the information out there to the world, and it's always greatly appreciated for those of you who do share. All right, here we go. The 3 pillars of a powerful schedule. Pillar number 1 is clarity. Clarity. What do you want? What do you want? Clarity of intention is power. So you have to identify what you actually want. Next is what matters most right now. So think about it. Sometimes we'll focus on things, but these aren't things that are super urgent. They're actually things that you have to get done right now. So what do you want and what matters most right now? Next is what's your one big focus? What's the most important thing that you have to put your focus on, let's say throughout the course of the day? Some of you, you're working on just getting to the next level financially, and that one big focus may have to be your business. That one big focus may have to be sending out that email. But what's your one big focus for the day? Pillar number 2 is simplicity. Time blocking basics. So blocking out time. Many of you hear me talk about the Pomodoro technique, and the Pomodoro technique is really great for productivity. It's essentially blocking out 25-minute blocks of time throughout the course of the day to focus on one designated task. And once the 25 minutes is up, you take a break, and then you start another Pomodoro directly after that. And this is really good. It can be cleaning up your home. It can be sending out emails. It can be making quick phone calls. It can be writing the pages of a book, journaling, prayer time, whatever it is. But time blocking basics are essential. And the Pomodoro is one of the best time blocking productivity hacks that I know. Also, the 3 daily priorities, the big 3, as we mentioned earlier, you have the theme days, which helps with simplicity, and the weekly reset ritual. So for me, my weekly reset is Sundays. I take Sundays off, and it's my time to just chill with my family, focus on spirituality, things like that, and just not do anything when it comes to work. So it really, really does help throughout the week. So just getting very simple, very clear on what your week should look like. Pillar number 3 is boundaries. So you want to, for example, protect your mornings. This is big. In fact, my business partners know if you're going to reach out to me first thing in the morning, asking for something, please start with a good morning. It doesn't hurt. It's just 2 simple words. Start with a good morning. There's just nothing like easing into the morning. And sometimes it's not the most pleasant experience getting inundated with tasks or inundated with requests and someone not even having a courtesy to say good morning. So be that person to your family, your friends. And I know in some cultures it's a little bit different. So in New York, New Yorkers, we like to kind of get straight to the point. But when you live in the South, it's a bit different. Like, right? Manners are a lot more prevalent. Even on the islands, it's like you don't walk up in that household without saying good morning or good afternoon. That's a big part of the culture. So I believe in that big time. Just start, your day. And whenever you reach out to someone, the least you can do is say good morning, good afternoon, things like that. Next is learning to say no to low value work. Low value work. Sometimes you guys will hear me say, if it ain't a hell yes, it should be a hell no. And there are many times where saying no is actually more powerful than saying yes. And that's a big part of productivity, is what you say no to. And having the power to say no. Exercise your no muscle. Oftentimes there are a lot of people that suffer, and I know, because I've been there, where you suffer from the disease to please. You want to please everyone, and you end up saying yes to too many things, and then you end up stretching yourself thin, and then you wonder why you don't get ahead in life. So get really good at saying no to things, especially those things that don't get you to where you want to be. Next is removing time thieves. It could be notifications, random calls, multitasking. I know there are many times where I'll put my phone on do not disturb, because phone calls are just distractions. And I also eliminated notifications from popping up on my main screen, because I noticed that was a major distraction as well. So all of these different things are time thieves. So don't just take anybody's call. Schedule in time for calls. The most productive people in the world are not just taking random calls all throughout the course of the day. Your family, your friends, they'll be able to wait. Now, if it's an emergency, that's different, but they'll be able to wait. If you're doing something, you're in the middle of something, don't feel like you have to answer every single call. Next is communicating availability with clients, team, family, and friends. Just letting your family and friends know, hey, the best time to reach me is this time. If you call me throughout the day, the odds of you actually getting through to me is going to be slim. So letting family and friends know. I always let my team as well. I let them know, like, hey, if you have to get in contact with me, try a message. If you see I don't message back, send another message. And if it's super urgent and you need to reach me right away, just try giving me a call. Right. And that's always been the most effective approach for me, because I get thousands of messages a week. Hey, it ain't that I don't rust the fact that, I get super busy and my inbox gets drowned out. Okay. All right. Next, we have building your high performance weekly system. So this is your weekly method of operation. Many times you guys will hear me talk about your DMO, or your daily method of operation. This is your WMO, your weekly method of operation. So step one is the big 3 wins for the week. What are going to be your big 3 wins for the week? It could be 1 business, 1 personal, 1 health. Just depends on what it is that you're working on in that specific season. So what are the 3 big wins that you're going for this week? Step 2, your weekly map. So you want to assign each win a time block. So if you have intentions on winning this week by going to the gym at least 3 to 4 times a week, then is it on your calendar? If you want to win this week by reaching out to a certain amount of prospects in your business, making a certain amount of cold calls, whatever it is, then is it scheduled in? If you're working on a book or you're creating content, is it scheduled in? And the big thing is to reverse engineer task into the calendar. You guys hear me talk about this idea of identifying that North Star. And then once you have that North Star, you always hear me talk about reverse engineering that North Star and breaking it down into practical micro goals that you can accomplish weekly or even daily. Another thing that you can do for your calendar, and this is something that I'm big on, is color coordinating your different categories. So if it's fitness or if it's content, clients, family, all of that stuff, you can color coordinate it. For me, whenever it's something that's super urgent, like business related stuff, income producing activity, it's color coordinated red. And red note, like it means it's super important. If it's not so important, I may color it as blue or something, or orange, or even yellow. So color coordinating your calendar will clearly show you, okay, these are the important tasks. So maybe the big three are in red and everything else is like orange or yellow. Step 3 is daily execution rituals. So this can be something as simple as a morning setup. Maybe you have your hour of power, first hour of waking up. It could be 10-minute clarity review, just going over the schedule for the day. It could be a midday reset. So the midday reset can be 5-minute refocus, or maybe you go for a walk and kind of go over the day and just see what else you have ahead. It can be a night shutdown where it's just 10-minute reflection on the entire day, what worked, what didn't work, what you learned, what you have going on for the next day. And you can just remove unnecessary micro decisions altogether. So what micro decisions did you make over the last 24 hours? And how can you remove those micro decisions for the next day? Next, we have how schedule mastery creates a more balanced life. So you want to break down balance as alignment, not equal time. So you guys may hear me talk all the time that I don't talk about all the time that I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in work-life harmony. Work-life balance is kind of this idea that everything is balanced, everything is equal. Work-life harmony says, you know what? Some seasons I'm going to be double or tripling down on my health. Some seasons I'm going to be in get to the bag mode, meaning you're like super productive or going hard with your business or your business launch. There are going to be other seasons where you're focusing more on your family. And the biggest thing is you don't neglect any of those areas. Some areas need more of your time and attention, and other areas you can sacrifice a little bit of time and attention. But it's work-life harmony more than anything. It's not equal time. So the idea is more presence with your family, clear space for self-care. You hear us say all the time, self-care is the best care. More control over your finances, mental calm plus emotional stability. You'll hear me oftentimes recommend going out for walks just for your mental and emotional health. Less scrambling, more intentional living when you focus on alignment. You have an idea of how to structure actually, how to structure actually creates more freedom in your life when you can have an idea of how to structure all of these things. You hear me talk about the 5 F's: faith, fitness, family, fortune, and fun, and how to compartmentalize your day so that you're giving enough time to those 5 F's. And that's my way of compartmentalizing it. I like to think of it as having a drawer with 5 different drawers or whatever. And you open up the drawer and let's say that's faith. And that drawer is filled with all the things that are pertaining to your spiritual life. So that can be going to a church, mosque, synagogue, whatever's your thing. It could be scripture. It can be prayer, meditation, going out in nature, whatever it is, mindfulness. Then the next one is fitness. You open up that drawer. What's in the fitness? It's mental, emotional, and physical fitness. So it may be going for that walk out in nature. It may be taking time to draw because drawing is very soothing for you. It may be tuning into some personal development, filling up your cup, whatever that is, going out for a workout or doing some stretching or some yoga, whatever it is. But that's the fitness. Then you have family. When you open up that drawer, what's in there? Stories, it's going out on the, okay? And when it comes to fortune encompasses also finances and everything pertaining to how you go about building wealth. Super, super important. So that's managing your budget, right? Maybe you go through your budget every single week. You kind of see where your money is going, all of that. Also fun. And it's important to schedule in even something as simple as fun in your life. Quality of life. Maybe you schedule in that vacation for the year. Think about this. Did you go on vacation this year? If you didn't, my question to you is, did you even schedule it in for the year? Did you block out time on your calendar for that vacation you were going to take? Did you put much thought or planning into it? If you didn't, that's probably why you didn't take that vacation. You see, some of us we have things that are shoulds in our life that should be must, because you don't get your should, you get your must. A lot of the times we're just saying, oh, well, I should work out, or I should go on that vacation, or I should go out on that date night. And that's the reason why it doesn't happen. You get your must in life. So you have to prioritize even the quality of life. I have clients, honestly, I'll work with them on peak performance. I'll work with them on their business. I'll work with them on their health. But a lot of the times I'm just working with them on prioritizing fun in their life. Because what's the point of just going so hard with your business or just working and grinding and you have no quality of life? So it's work-life harmony. Okay. Next, the elite performer mindset around time. So you want to think about your peak performance as like a sport. Sometimes it's good to look at yourself as an athlete, because athletes are very, very structured and organized when it comes to their energy levels throughout the day, their scheduling, their performance, all of that. And how are you going about your calendar? Are you going about it as an elite performer, or are you just winging it? So what do world-class people believe? First and foremost, one of the beliefs is time is a reputation. Think about that. When was the last time you thought of your time as your reputation? So how you treat it tells the world who you are. You know, when I started really, really valuing my time, honestly, when I started charging hundreds and hundreds of dollars an hour for my services, the first time I made hundreds and hundreds of dollars for 1 hour of my time, my life changed, because immediately it showed me what my time was worth. And my recommendation to you is, look, even if you're working a job that's paying $15 an hour, you have to value your time as if it's truly precious. Think about this. How much in your heart of hearts do you believe your time is worth? Like if I were to ask you right now, how much is your time worth? If you had to put a dollar amount, what dollar amount comes to mind? Today, for a 1 hour speech, I charged $25,000. That did something to the way I valued my time. And that's why, for me, it's not hard to turn things down, because, again, if it ain't a hell yes, it should be a hell no. I'm not giving my time so willingly, because that time could be used towards things that are actually improving my life and the life of those that I serve. So being very intentional about your time and treating it like a reputation. Remember this: discipline equals confidence. The more disciplined you are, discipline is a sign of self-respect. It's a clear indication that you have dignity, you have self-respect when you're disciplined. Your life is actually important to you. You value your life. That's what discipline will do to you, and it builds your confidence. Another thing is consistency equals excellence. It's anybody can be disciplined for a short burst of time. I see people all the time. They're like, all right, new year, new me. Here we go. Right. And they're disciplined for 4 days. And then the moment life starts lifing, that discipline goes out the window. So consistency is the name of the game. Discipline is the left hand. Consistency should be the right hand. They work hand in hand. They work together. This is a saying, I don't have time, right? That saying of I don't have time really means it's not important yet. How many times are you just telling yourself, I don't have time? And really, it's not that important to you, because there's a saying that if you want something done, ask a busy person, because busy people are so accustomed to just getting things done. And a lot of the times you're not getting things done, not because you're super busy. It's just because it's not a priority. It's not that important. Remember, the most successful people in the world don't work harder. They work with higher intentionality. Intentionality is super important. So I'll close out with this. A scattered schedule leads to a scattered life, but a structured schedule creates a structured future. So I want to recommend, for those of you who hopped on today, create your peak week plan right now, right after this Breakfast Club. Shut it down and take some notes on what you would like your week to be. This is what I refer to as calendar optimization. And for those that I work with on peak performance, on just taking their life to the next level, on having more work-life harmony, you have to master your schedule. So listen to this episode. If you have to, again, drop a comment. Let us know what were some of the biggest takeaways for you on this specific episode. And once again, for those of you who need help with your calendar optimization, you need help getting yourself some momentum going into the new year, DM me the word challenge and let's get you on the schedule, on my schedule, to work one-on-one for 5 days for our 5-day challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, breakfast is served. God bless every last one of you. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll be seeing you next Tuesday. Take care.